I would like to talk with you today about an amazing book I read recently, Pandemic: A Call to Love by Dr. Rose Bruce. Dr. Bruce, who is a professional social science researcher, professor, and author, describes her personal experiences with the COVID-19 pandemic spreading across the U.S. and the world. With intimacy and frankness, we read about her shock and assimilation of the information that introduced the world to a new vocabulary, including terms like shelter in place, social distancing, and PPE, or personal protective equipment, used by people on the front lines of treating those infected with the COVID-19 virus. Dr. Francisco H. Vazquez, who was a colleague of Dr. Bruce for 30 years, writes the following. Her narrative evokes the kind of writing that is done by someone who is in the frontline trenches of a war, someone who is under a barrage of fire. The reader can feel the tension of dealing with an invisible threat that forces us to be sheltered at home or else risk losing our lives or the lives of others. This experience is also akin to culture shock because our everyday routines, habits, sites, and interactions are no longer there. Our world has shrunk to the space of our home and the occasional trips to the grocery store. Under such conditions, a writer must, appropriately, focus on writing down impressions rather than following academic formalities. As Dr. Bruce states, one of the reasons I left academia was because I was so tired of just relying on the mind and ignoring the heart. I find Dr. Bruce's book is more than just a description of events on a given day. It is a modernist work, more akin to James Joyce's Stream of Consciousness than to a journal, because it illustrates an existential phenomenon, how content overcomes form. What I mean by this is that in her prelude, she states, each chapter starts with a daily thought from Beyond 2020 Spiritual Vision by the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa, California. Yet the intense reality of these times overwhelms this plan, and to the reader's delight, the content encompasses much more than the COVID-19 epidemic. It includes book reviews, biographical sketches, charts, and web links. This is not unintentional. As she herself notes, the thoughts did not easily translate into what was happening around me. I find this to be an enrichment of her personal account. Dr. Bruce's account is centered on the notion of the symbiotic and loving spiritual interrelationship of all sentient beings in the world. This ancient knowledge is in constant struggle with the egotistic, survival of the fittest claim that we are instead self-sufficient individuals that should either learn to survive on our own or simply, in its more extreme versions, just die. These are, to be sure, desperate times when people's livelihood, their very survival, is threatened. And in such times, many people lose their sense of humanity and interconnection. Dr. Bruce is not one of them. On the contrary, her voice echoes W.H. Auden's words, "We must love one another or die." Dr. Bruce chronicles many people from diverse ethnic and social classes who lovingly step up to volunteer and carry on the basic functions of society. These are the nurses, doctors, grocery employees, deliverers, etc. While reading her book, one not only follows but feels the ebb and flow of emotions as days and then weeks go by, punctuated with alternating good news and bad news, spiritual epiphanies and exasperation. Just as a spring comes after the winter, however, she finds constant rejuvenation in spiritual readings, meditation, and prayers. And this is precisely why her book is a call to love and an inspiration to us today and to our future descendants. You can purchase Pandemic: A Call to Love at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and from the publisher Maple Leaf Publishing. You can also find it on her website, rosesobriety.com. Buy it today.